How's it going there, everybody? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing you guys a brand new One Piece chapter discussion. For today's segment, guys, we're going to be talking about this chapter 853 that just came out about 2 days ago. Yes, I'm a little late to the party, guys, but better late than never, right, guys? So let's continue in this chapter, guys. There was a lot to be actually going on, but yet this chapter felt short. After watching Code for Writer's actual video on this latest chapter review, I personally thought the same thing that Code Provider actually provided, and that was the fact that Oda is teasing us. Even the manga is actually going at a slower pace, but it goes along to say that Oda is not trying to make this arc a battle arc. Whole Cake Island is not going to be a battle arc. Now that we're seeing more and more as it's developing, no, it's more on the character developments of the whole story as a whole. That's what we're actually seeing instead of just the main battle shonen fights. But still, what Code Provider said was very, very interesting in seeing as to how this chapter was actually developing. But without further ado, guys, let's talk more about what actually happened in this specific chapter. Now, this specific chapter, it actually involved Brook versus Big Mom. Let me stop you guys there. The battle finished already, Brook versus Big Mom, because of the fact we were already watching Brook already just dismantled in his underwear or some kind of rag itself that was just right there near his, like a loincloth of some sorts, and he was just being petted like a little animal by Big Mom, and she was just complimenting on just how strong Brook was, as to seeing as her chest soldiers, they couldn't stand a chance against Brook because of his special powers. It was entertaining seeing as how Big Mom was actually complimenting Brook itself, but it seemed because Brook actually lost due to the fact, not because of Big Mom, but because of her Devil Fruit ability. Her Devil Fruit ability involved 3 actual homies itself. It was, I believe it was Prometheus, I believe it was Zeus, and the third one that everybody was all shocked was Napoleon, the bicorn. And that is the hat that she wears all the time. I didn't know that that was actually another homie, and all these 3 homies are actually part of her own soul that she implemented into these beings themselves. That's why you could say Brook actually lost against Big Mom. Granted though, at least, you know, Brook actually tried his best, but at least he failed. But granted, it kind of goes on to say that Brook right now is playing dead because Big Mom doesn't seem to be aware that Brook is actually alive or is aware of his Devil Fruit ability, as it seems, because she's just petting him as if he's already dead itself. But at least she's having fun with it. She has a fetish for necrophilia, from what it seems. Pretty interesting. But moving on, guys, and it seems that later in the chapter we learned that Big Mom was actually showcasing more about her past itself with Roger, as she was saying that it seems that she was going to be the second closest person to actually reaching Rafto itself, but it was thanks to Roger's actual interference with Big Mom that actually made her not go to Rafto instead, because Roger came in and heard the voice of all things, as that seems to be another prevailing actual story element involved in, you could say, in the One Piece lore. The voice of all things is slowly being teased at Senzo Island, because of the fact, remember guys, Luffy was, I believe he was talking to Zunisha, or at least he heard Zunisha, not talking to Zunisha, but he actually heard Zunisha's voice. So that could be another story implemented of Luffy actually attaining this voice of all things, as we actually learn more that Pudding is actually a successor to having this acquired power of the voices of all things in this chapter, because Big Mom was actually ranting on about saying that, you know, oh, this time I'm gonna be the one that's gonna go to Rafto thanks to Pudding with her third eye. And it seems that this is another story element involved here, that it seems that Pudding is now a half-breed of the Third Eye tribe, as we have never in the One Piece universe knew about this. This seems like something new that we have now just barely learning about. It seems that the Three-Eye tribe seems to be some kind of, you know, clan members themselves that are probably associated with the Poneglyphs themselves, or that there's some song that there maybe that's the D. We're not too sure, but apparently we're still left vague. And it seems that Pudding herself came right on time while Big Mom was ranting, and it seems that Big Mom was saying, just, you know, giving highlights about, you know, oh, Pudding, my darling, you're gonna be my next big star. But it just seems that, you know, that Pudding wanted to talk to, you could say, Big Mom about something else that she wanted to talk in private. We don't know as to what that is, but maybe it could be because Maybe she's actually looking for Sanji, or Sanji might know, or maybe she just wants to talk about Reiju and the Grandma 66. We don't know that for sure, but Pudding wants to talk to Big Mom later in the chapter. But, you know, we were just hinted at that. But moving on, guys, because that's about it. Because it seems that we're, like I said, Oda is skipping away from the fights. And the reason I kept saying, like, just like Code Provider has stated, that I'm now starting to see that in this chapter, this whole arc is not a battle arc. It seems that Wano Kuni is going to be the battle arc in a sense, and not necessarily Whole Cake Island, because it just seems like I said, this is a rescue arc, so maybe Oda's trying to differentiate the arcs themselves, since we just got out of a huge battle arc in a sense since Dressrosa, because remember, you could say Soul Island itself was that in-between arcs between another arc in itself, so it just goes along to say that Whole Cake Island is another different terms. I'm not saying that Whole Cake Island is horrible. It's just that it's something new that we really haven't seen for a long time with One Piece. Because remember, all the islands that Luffy has been coming in the New World is just basically fight after fight after fight. So it just seems that this arc itself is something new entirely for us viewers, because we're not witnessing a grand fight in itself. Like I said, but continuing on, guys, continuing on. Now, later in the chapter, we do get, you know, we were still hinted at the fact with Baron Tamago versus Pedro. Now, that, I personally felt that fight should have been actually explained more. I would have loved to see these two fight more, but like I said, Oda kept that fight short. Now, this fight, I have to say, was another short-handed fight. Now, because of the fact that, you know, we're seeing Baron Tamago actually finally showcasing his Devil Fruit ability, as he has the Tama Tama no Mi. I believe it's the Egg Fruit or the Spirit Fruit. Not too sure, but it seems we're gonna go with Egg Fruit, because it seems that the epithet that's going along with this actual Devil Fruit ability is actually chickens and then birds. It's very funny how Oda was actually going with this, because it's funny that a tiger is actually eating chicken. So of course Pedro should win, but it seems that Pedro actually took out the comical side effect of Baron Tamago, as we were all looking at the Long Leg Tribe's actual fighting style ability, but it just seems that it just fell diminished due to Baron Tamago's Devil Fruit ability. Like it just didn't really seem to fit Baron Tamago. Honestly, I might have thought that his Devil Fruit ability might have been something along the lines as an offensive and not something that regenerates, because you can say Baron Tamago's Devil Fruit ability regenerates, and by regenerating I mean is every time that Pedro strikes Tamago down, he's being revived as a chicken, and then as a chick, and then from a chick to a chicken, and then from a chicken to a hawk from, I'm assuming, the last. We don't know if the last form that he was being regenerated into was a hawk or some sort of eagle. We don't know that for sure, or a rooster. Like I said, we don't know, because what happened next, Pedro just like destroys that battle sequence and literally destroys it and bombs it, because he's carrying, out of nowhere, he's carrying C4 explosives, like a whole barrage full of explosives on him that we all weren't even aware of. Like, where did he just pop up those explosives? That didn't make any sense. Oda, I know you're trying to hurry this. I'm serious. After watching Co-Provider's video, I personally see this, that yes, Oda really is moving the story along really quickly. I feel like he wants to cut the battle sequences along, and he wants to move the story forward, because Pedro's fight was just done right there, and it seems that he just defeated everybody, because after the whole explosion, Pedro actually escaped to the mirror world with Chopper, Carrot, and Broly. And right there and then, they're actually going about and going to try to go find Nami, Sanji, and Luffy. Now that goes along to say that, what the freaking heck? I would have loved to see Pedro versus Tamago. That would have been interesting to see, or at least a longer fight in a sense, because come on. This fight felt very diminished. We would have been at least being able to see more of Pedro's ability. Maybe they just don't want to show us more of what Pedro's able to offer, as maybe he might fight somebody else. Maybe they're going to fight one of the Sweet Commanders, as that might be one of their main villains that Oda's going to be showcasing in this arc. Maybe that's the case. But it just seems Pedro was not really going to fight Tamago in a sense. It's a little sad at the same time, but what can we do? You know, we're really here for the story. But like I say, I'm not saying the story was horrible. It's just that, you know, we're like I said, like how Code Provider says, that we're just kept at that waiting. We're kept at that stance that we have to keep. You know, we're just being teased throughout the whole entire time. That's just it. You know, it's kind of horrible at the same time, but you know, what can we do about it? But moving on, folks, later in the chapter, we then noticed that, you know, like I said, Luffy was actually running around and rampaging and trying to find Sanji, because Sanji himself is also trying to find Luffy. But I believe Luffy in the chapter was actually pulled by Reiju, and then from right there, Reiju just talks to Luffy saying, you know, you don't have to look for him, etc., etc. You know, Sanji's actually going to try and look for you. Then, of course, Luffy gets some words of encouragement, of course, all tired and everything, and jumps out of like a 30th floor window, jumps down to the town, and then he's going, okay, I have to meet Sanji at the meeting place, all exhausted and just heavily panting right there on the panel screen, and the chapter ends right there. And that's it. That was it. That was One Piece chapter 853. I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying this chapter is horrible. It's just we're expecting more fights, because remember, this, like Code Provider stated, this is a shonen fight, but it's just that, like, it's interesting how Oda is going about with this arc itself. Like I said, I am always intrigued with how Oda writes his stories, you know, and how. So I respect how Oda is going with this. It's just that it's interesting to see that we're not getting as many fights as we actually would like to see in this arc. That's what's interesting. Because I feel like Oda wants to just now continue moving on with the story. I feel like he wants to move to Wano Kuni. That's what I believe he really wants to do. I'm not saying that's horrible. I'm just saying it's the fact that, you know, we would all love to see some more fights, because, you know, we only barely got a glimpse of a small fight between Luffy versus Cracker, Luffy versus Sanji. We're seeing all these small glimpses of fights. Like I said, so this rescue arc is not what we're expecting. Like I said, Oda is pulling that Oda twist that is still keeping us entertained. Like I said, it's still entertaining to this very day. But like I said, like how Code Provider said that, you know, that it's we're stuck at that little stance that we're just gonna keep on waiting every single week, expecting more and more. That's good though. Oda's learned how to captivate us, saying we want more and more and more. Like I said, Oda, you genius! How dare you? How dare you trapping me in here? How dare you? But needless to say, guys, that's it for the chapter, because like I said, that out of everything else, the chapter is moving along smoothly. By smoothly, I mean that the story is actually progressing forward very, very quickly. And the thing about it is the fact that, you know, we're learning more and more involved with the lore of the One Piece universe itself, the voice of all things. That's what really intrigued the Third Eye Clan. That's what everybody's actually really they're looking forward to. I'm hoping this arc itself actually brings more and more facts as to what we're going to be dealing with in later future arcs with these type of events that are unfolding, and we're slowly learning more about Big Mom as to what she's really involving herself with Raftel. Personally, I would have never thought that she might have been the second closest to going to Raftel, honestly, because we like I said, we never learned more of who Roger's enemies was besides Shiki. We never learned as to who else was right beside Roger back in the day. Of course, it was Whitebeard, but I believe Whitebeard said that he never really cared about One Piece or the treasure itself or heading to Raftel. I don't believe he ever said that he ever cared about that, which was interesting. Maybe Whitebeard, maybe he did actually witness it, or. Like I said, we're still kept on the skepticism. I have to read more back into this, because my God, you know, like the universe itself it's still expanding. That's the thing about Oda. He's always freaking expanding the universe, no matter where in the story that we're at. He always has some way of keeping us going at it every single time. I'm loving it. Still loving it. But like I said, guys, let me know down in the comments below as to what are you guys' thoughts on this chapter itself. And plus, like I said, I believe this chapter was great. It's a different spin that we're not all used to. Like I said, since it's a shonen genre, we're expecting more fights. But I can't wait to see what more this chapter after all. Like I said, maybe the fights are gonna be different from what we expect in the later chapters. So we're gonna see more of the Sweet Commanders fights. That's what we should actually expect. But like I said, let me know down in the comments below as what are you guys' thoughts on who might actually fight? Will Jinbei actually fight more in this actual arc? Will Luffy actually fight? Will Sanji, will the Garment 66 fight? As you know, because there's so many power plays going around here that, you know, the story is still unfolding itself, folks. Like I said, let me know down in the comments. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more One Piece chapter discussions. And as always, guys, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen, signing out.